Yo, what's going on, you guys? Your boy B Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. We are on the NBA Finals post game show right here on this channel here, y'all. Right now, the Phoenix Suns are facing elimination as they now trail 3 games to 2 after the Milwaukee Bucks pulled off a huge victory on the road in the hostile territory of Phoenix with a huge victory on the road with the final score. Let me put this up real quick with a final score of 123 to 119. What a game this was, you guys! What a game! And it was a tale of basically of a entire of 3 quarters as you could put it. Because let me tell you something: the Phoenix Suns, they were guns blazing out in that first quarter of play. They were up by as many as 16 points. That they led 31 to 27. But then after that, the Milwaukee Bucks turned things up a big time notch. They outscored the Suns 43 to 24 in the second, 36 to 29 in the third. Those 2 quarters right there really set the tone of what happened in the game. And I really felt that there were several key adjustments that the Milwaukee Bucks made that really turned the momentum in their favor. One, particularly with the presence of Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday had a tremendous game. I said at the start of the series that in order for the Milwaukee Bucks to have a chance of winning the championship, Drew Holiday had to have a huge had to have a huge game if they're gonna have an opportunity. Well, tonight he showed up in a big way. 27 points, 13 assists, 4 rebounds, and that big steal with about 25 seconds to go in the game really was the huge killer point in the game, you guys. What a performance that was. Then Chris Middleton once again coming back from that 40-point performance in game 4, coming back with 29 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. And then Giannis doing what he does best, 32 points, 6 rebounds. I'm sorry, 9 rebounds and 6 assists. You know, what I really liked how, you know, what the Milwaukee Bucks pretty much did was that they pretty much did a great job using that pick and roll effectively. Now, remember years ago when people criticized, Giannis for, not seeing double teams well, or he would drive into the wall and then wouldn't kick the ball out? Well, he learned that lesson big time. And the reason why is that he recognized that he got guys on the perimeter now that can make shots. So anytime he drove down the lane, he didn't have to force the issue. All he had to do was attract the defense and kick the ball out. And so anytime that Bobby Portis or even Pat Covington was open on the perimeter, they was ready and locked and loaded. And anytime that they had open chances, they knocked them down. And also Pat Covington was huge off the bench. I think he was 4-6 from 3-point range, and he had 14 points. Huge game off the bench. So what I also noticed during the game too, as well, is that the Milwaukee Bucks would put Drew Holiday on the bench during certain minutes of the game, and they went to a bigger backcourt. Basically, they went to more PJ Tucker and Chris Middleton to go along with Bobby Portis, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. What that did was that it created a bigger lineup that created a lot of mismatch problems for the Phoenix Suns. And I tell you what, you know, Mike Budenholzer got a lot of criticism over the last couple of years for how he's been basically was out coached a lot, but this time around he's been the one making the huge adjustments. In the last half of the series, you guys. You got to give Mike Budenholzer a lot of credit because he pretty much made some key adjustments in terms of the matchups. And right now, the Phoenix Suns are now pretty much running around, trying to battle against a bigger lineup than the one that they're accustomed to throughout the entire playoffs. And so right now, guys, the Milwaukee Bucks are in a great position now, and as the series now shits back to Milwaukee for Game 6 Tuesday night, I have a very strong feeling now that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to close out this series because the way I see it now, the Milwaukee Bucks have pretty much figured out the Phoenix Suns. You know what I mean? And for Chris Paul, I will say, Chris Paul did had an efficient game. He didn't turn the ball over as much, bounced back decently, but there were times in the game where he did not put his foot on the gas pedal and he did not adjust very well to the defense. And a lot of it had to do with the fact with the size. There's no denying about that. I felt like the Milwaukee Straps did a good job of putting themselves in bad rotations on offense. They really threw them off a lot, and also DeAndre Ayton. He all them easy buckets that he was getting in the first 3 rounds, not getting them that much. Then that much is not didn't get him that much in this series. You know what I'm saying? And so right now the Milwaukee Bucks, they're in great position now. They're only one victory away. One thing, if you're a Milwaukee Buck fan, is that you better hope that this team does not get themselves overwhelmed by the moment of winning a championship. Because now the Phoenix Suns, they've been the best road team all year long. Now they have to win Game 6 Tuesday night to force a Game 7 on Thursday. And so, boy, I tell you what, they blew a lot of opportunities. I'll tell you that. So let me check out the chat real quick. I got my boy Brandon Nicholson in the building. What's up, man? He said, I know Suns Nation has to be sick tonight. I won't say the series is over, but this isn't the position the Phoenix Suns want to be in. Facts. Listen, I don't think the series is over, but they're now putting themselves in a pretty much a compromising position because Milwaukee is very tough at home. And so what they're going to have to do is do what they did in the first quarter, but keep on going the whole game. Because I felt like after they went up by 16, and they basically got complacent. And so they let Milwaukee get themselves set defensively. And the pick and roll sets that the Milwaukee Bucks have been pretty much doing with both Middleton and Giannis is creating a lot of different types of matchups on the offensive end for Milwaukee. And so anytime you saw them in the pick and roll, what did the Suns do? They try to trap it. But in doing so, they put themselves in bad defensive rotations, and all they had to do is just find the open man, and they get easy buckets. And right now, right now, I gotta say, the Milwaukee Bucks has got themselves in a good position now. Brent Nicholson says, I think the Bucks did a good job at adjusting to 8. Yes, I do. He also says, I always said that the series will come down who's going to outcoach each other. Right now, I got to say, Mike Budenholzer, is outcoaching Monty Williams. What's up, Louis Sports Never? He says, I just don't trust CP3 in these type of games against a healthy team. Well, you couldn't say that in the first 2 games, but now they've dropped the last 3. So Chris Paul's got to step up now. Louis Sports Never says the Suns gave up the lead, but Milwaukee blew it right back with those missed free throws. Yep, it was gonna come down to those free throws. I tell myself every time when it comes to that free throw line, it's an adventure for Giannis. Yep. He said, Dud Punhosa put Giannis at the 5 and makes Aunt Ayton play more defense, and no son can stop. See, that's what I've been trying to tell. That's what I've been waiting for him to do all series long until he recognized that putting Brook Lopez on the floor was going to compromise their defense by taking him out and putting Giannis at the 5 and then Bobby Portis at the 4. What that does is that it's allowing Milwaukee to pretty much have a much more versatile defensive unit, but also on the offensive side, is forcing DeAndre Ayton to guard against Giannis. And I'll tell you what, Giannis has had his way against DeAndre Ayton, and so that right there was a huge adjustment there. What's up, Jonathan McFarland? How you doing, my brother? Brand Nicholson says Drew Holiday stripping boogers pretty much saved Giannis his lunch. You got that right. See, I didn't like the fact that Monty Williams didn't call a timeout to set up a better play than that. I think what they were trying to do was trying to get a quick shot in off of a live ball situation, but Devin Booker dribbled himself into traffic, and also Drew Holiday still has that elite defense, and so he was able to strip Devin Booker from behind, pretty much right in front of him, and that alley oop pass that he put on for Giannis was picture perfect, right on the money. You see, you got to be able to foul the ball handler before that pass is even made, and so that play was just phenomenal. He said, "What an alley oop!" Absolutely. Devin Booker's Lewis Spoken say Devin Booker barely touched the ball in that fourth quarter. Facts. He said 78 is excited as F right now. Yeah, bro. I man, I'm gonna go check him out as soon as I'm done with this though. But yeah, man, I'm sure he's so happy about this too, bro. One victory away, man. I know that he's not happy that he wasn't going to be able to attend the Deontay Wilder fight because of all of the BS by Tyson Fury, but this got to help him out somewhat. Jonathan McFarland says, I don't think that Giannis will miss those free throws Tuesday night with the title on the line. We'll see. We'll definitely see about that. But yeah, see, this is it for the Phoenix Suns here. This is they face some adversity throughout the round throughout the playoffs, but they haven't faced this kind of adversity ever. And so everything's on the line now. Chris Paul's legacy, you know me, as a great player, as a great point guard, the Devin Booker, is he going to really step up to the occasion with their backs against the wall? Everything is on the line, guys. Everything is on the line. He said, one more victory and the Giannis era will begin. Yeah, you got that right. And with all the other teams that's going on in the East right now, they're gonna have to deal with the Bucks now. I'm telling y'all. Louis Sport Network says Monty tried to surprise the Bucks on the last possession by not calling the timeout. The problem was when Booker drove the Bucks collapsed defensively and got trapped. Bro, see, I never understood that. Like, I never felt like I never thought that Monty Williams would call a timeout. Like, I get how you were trying to make them, get a playoff with the clock, with the clock running. But to me, I would have taken the chance of calling the timeout and set up a better play to give your best shooter, your best scorer, a clean look at the shot. And if he missed it off your set play, you can live with that. But but it was too obvious because Devin Booker was pretty much, what did he do? He would drive the ball and drive his shoulder against the Bucks guards and try to get a shot off. And Drew Holiday knew what was going to happen and pretty much timed it perfectly right into his shoulder and then basically shook the ball away from Booker. It was too obvious and it was too easy for an excellent defender like Drew Holiday. Louis Sport never said, "Yep, yeah." Like I said, he also said if Monty Williams would have called the timeout for the most part, his out of bounds plays would have been a half court set that could have gotten a clean look off on a set play. That's what I mean, bro. Monty Williams really messed this up, bro. He really did. But you know what? Despite that, the Suns should not put themselves in a position by blowing that 16-point lead. They were hitting their shots early on. They were executing better, and they were the aggressors early on. They had the momentum and the tempo in their favor. You know what I mean? There's no excuse for blowing a 16-point lead and then basically allowing the Milwaukee Bucks to get themselves settled in. And then all of a sudden, they start getting crazy from downtown and then started, letting Giannis conduct the offense better. You know what I'm saying? So that's just ridiculous. Jonathan McFarland says, facts, Mari. He said, I'm starting to dislike Booker a little bit. He's like Luca, always crying. Yeah, bro. Like, yeah, and see, that's the other thing too that I just got a little bit, irate at. Like Booker, this is the NBA Finals. You're not gonna get the same kind of calls you normally would get during the regular season, bro. You got to stay focused. Like I felt like there were times where he let the officiating get into his mind, and in those circumstances, you can't do that. You know what I mean? And besides, you got to rewind back to Game 4 when he basically body pressed against Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday and should have been fouled out in Game 4. So I don't know what is he talking about in this sense. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Brent Nicholson says Devin Booker is letting the refs get to him. You know what, bro? That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. He's letting the referees get into his mind, and right now it's affecting how he's playing. You just got to suck it up, ignore the refs, and just play through it. He said Booker's getting away with fouls. Right, bro. Back to Game 4. Like I said, he should have been fouled out not once but twice. How do you put all body against Middleton and Drew Holiday and not get a foul call? I just don't get it, man. I don't. Louis Sport never said he should have fouled out in Game 4. Jonathan Farner said Booker should have fouled out in Game. Yeah, I know, bro. He has some of this James Harden syndrome. James Harden syndrome. Yeah, man. See, I'll tell you what, man. The Phoenix Suns now, their backs against the wall now. So there's no room for error. They cannot make any mistakes in game 6. So basically what I'm trying to tell y'all is Phoenix needs to do what they did in the first quarter, but they need to do it for the entire full 48 minutes. They can't do it for just 12 minutes in just one quarter. They have to do what they did in the first quarter, but do it the full 48 minutes. Control the pace, you know what I mean? Use more of your same pick and roll sets to try to create mismatches, but also establish a better defensive tone. You know what I'm saying? And this is where the lack of the bench is really hurting them because they don't have anybody else that could match up against Giannis. They don't have anyone else that can match against Bobby Portis, or even when they go to their bigger lineup, they're pretty much a small team by default. So the Bucks right now have all of the size advantages into their favor right now, and so at this point, man, it's on the Bucks now. They have to close this out because they don't want to go back to Phoenix for a game seven. You know what I mean? In front of that crazy crowd out in Phoenix. So all the pressure is on Milwaukee to close this out on Tuesday. And the way that I saw the game, I think Milwaukee's are putting themselves in an excellent position to not just to close out the series, but to win the championship. Yeah, he said the Sark injury really killed the Suns. Yeah, it did. He was a really critical, bench player that could spell some minutes and provide some, toughness in terms of their defense. I really felt that, you know, that could have helped them out a bit, but I don't think it would have mattered as much. He said, I don't think the Sark injury would have made a difference. Maybe it could, maybe it wouldn't, but you just never know. So, but right now, Phoenix has put themselves in a position now where now they have to win the next two games to win the championship. You know what I mean? Eh, Judge Brandon to I don't know what you meant by that, McFarland, but clarify that for me, my man. Yeah, but still, you know, this is it now, you guys. The Phoenix Suns. Let me pull up the percentages from the game, though, guys, because this is really where the stats is really going to tell you that much of how the games turn out, guys. So here's the stat. Here's the stat line of this game, here, guys. Okay. So as I pull this up, real quick. Okay. All right. So here's the percentages from the game. Okay. Now, despite the fact that Devin Booker had his 40-point, night again, you know what I'm saying? So, other than, Paul having 21, DeAndre Ayton with 20 points and 10 rebounds, the Milwaukee Bucks, they checked into the guy gear. They shot 57% from the field, 50% from the 3-point line. They pretty much out rebounded the Suns 37 to 35, 11 offensive rebounds, 28 assists, okay, compared to 11, and basically had 7 steals in the game. They basically shared the ball better, they moved the ball better, and when it comes to shot making, you know, you know, I think that the shot making was just outstanding. To me, the defenses weren't really that bad at all, but it's just that to a certain extent, the shot making of both of these teams was just off the charts. But it's just that Milwaukee hit the bigger shots when they needed to the most. Anytime that Phoenix cut the lead to at least 7 or 10, what would happen? They would Chris Middleton would hit a big three. Covington would make a big three, or Drew Holiday would make a big shot. They just kept hitting big shots that kept themselves, you know, you know, they keep themselves afloat. Okay, touch A as a acknowledgement. Okay, Brandon said, yeah, that's right. Yep. Okay, thanks, Brandon. I appreciate it. So, yeah, guys, yeah. So right now, Phoenix is Phoenix has got their back against the wall now. They have to win the next two to win the championship. And now, if you're Milwaukee, the pressure's on y'all to close out the series. If they don't, it's game seven back in Phoenix. And I'm going to tell you something. You do not want those problems. I'll tell you that. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down for the night, though, guys. But I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon with much more of a longer live stream. We're gonna get into all of the Game 5 stuff. You know what I'm saying, and also all the other news throughout the NBA too as well, you guys. So, you know, it is what it is, though, guys. Milwaukee's one victory away from their first championship since 1971. For the Phoenix Suns, it's come down to this: they have to win the next two games to win the championship. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down for the night, though, guys. But thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'll see y'all tomorrow afternoon with a more of a longer episode of basketball conversation. All right, y'all. Peace.